is that by legislation, and I repeat, by legislation, the California judicial system has been legislated to have been corrupt and to have committed illegal acts and to have been given immunity for the commission of those illegal acts.
Former attorney Richard I. Fine is taking on the judges in California, accusing them of taking illegal payments. As a direct result, he is being disbarred and thrown into jail for his efforts. Find out what this epic fight is all about next on Full Disclosure.
Relentless, probing, fearless. This is Emmy Award-winning Full Disclosure with Leslie Dutton, bringing you the truth by revealing the news behind the news.
Hello, I'm Leslie Dutton. Today on Full Disclosure, we're bringing you the news behind the news in this part one of our interview with disbarred attorney Richard I. Fine and commentary with civic activist David R. Hernandez. Richard I. Fine has been causing California's public officials headaches for a long time, requiring them to be accountable.
Case in the California Supreme Court that says that when the state doesn't have a budget, they can't pay anyone. And that put a stop to about 26 years of budget crises until our latest crisis. But in this latest crisis, the legislators were not getting paid while they went through this 80 days because of the fact that they could not be paid under the decision that I won. So it hurt them a certain amount while they were arguing away. Through this period of time on the public level, I returned $350 million that various governments had taken out of trust funds and special funds and put into their own budgets. I got that back into those funds. I stopped over $350 million from going out of the Tidelands Trust Fund. I brought the case in the city of Los Angeles that changed the way that sewer service charges are being charged to homeowners and people that own homes, and that's probably saves us tens of millions of dollars each year. I won the case against the County of Los Angeles where they were taking restaurant fees and environmental fees and putting it in the general fund instead of a special fund. That was $40 million a year, and as of this point in time, over $400 million has probably been put into that fund. All told, over $1 billion has been either saved or come in to the correct funds because of the efforts that I have done.
We first interviewed Mr. Fine on March 3rd, one day before he was ordered to appear before Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge David Yappe, who was charging Mr. Fine with contempt. We asked him if he was afraid to go to court the next day.
Well, tomorrow's hearing is interesting because the challenges that I've had before are basically challenges that we can say work within a functioning system. I mean, when I was getting all of this money back and so forth, I was dealing with a system that was functional. I mean, you have a case, you go into a court, it either gets settled, you win it, or you lose it, and you're dealing with a system that has integrity. Tomorrow's case, or the case that we have now, is dealing with a dysfunctional system because of the fact that this is now pure politics and retaliation. We are dealing now with a judge who took money from the County of Los Angeles, who then made an order that I should pay money to the County of Los Angeles, holds me in contempt for refusing to answer questions about my personal assets to force me to pay that money, and now wants to send me to jail because I'm in contempt for not obeying his illegal order, which was illegal because he took illegal money from the county. We're dealing with a dysfunctional system and a judge that is dealing with political retaliation. So we're not dealing in a justice system anymore. We're dealing with what some people would call a third world country. We're dealing with all the things that America condemns about other countries. That is what we have in this courtroom tomorrow. So I wouldn't say that it's really a comparison. We aren't dealing in a system that this country was set up to operate.
We asked him to explain why Judge Yappe is charging him with contempt of court.
He's found me in contempt for refusing to answer questions from a commissioner about an illegal order that he has made. And he wants to sentence me to jail until I answer those questions. Now, I have gone to the Court of Appeal with what is known as a writ of habeas corpus, which means bring in the body. And I have asked the Court of Appeal to enter a stay stopping Judge Yappe from doing anything. I haven't heard yet as of today whether they've entered that stay or not. If they enter the stay, Judge Yappe is dead in his tracks. If they don't enter the stay, then I'll go into the California Supreme Court, and if the California Supreme Court doesn't enter the stay, then I'll go into the United States District Court. Sooner or later, I will win. Whether I win before he sends me to jail, I don't know. But that is what we are dealing with.
In fact, as we speak, Richard I. Fine is sitting in jail under an indefinite sentence with no bail and no scheduled hearing. What is it that is driving this man to be so stubborn in his attack with the California judicial system? We're going to take a short break now and find out when we come back.
In the government, there's a phrase used to restrict access to information. That phrase, need to know. At fulldisclosure.net, we want you to have all the information you need to be an informed citizen, unlimited access to all the information we've gathered on our TV show. And if you can't watch us on your local cable station, streaming video of complete shows when you want them. Fulldisclosure.net, when you need to know the news behind the news.
Welcome back to Full Disclosure and our interview with disbarred attorney Richard I. Fine. We interviewed Mr. Fine the day before he was jailed by Los Angeles Superior Court Judge David Yappe. We asked Mr. Fine to explain how his conflict with the judicial system got started.
And in 1999, I brought a lawsuit called John Silva versus Garcetti, Gil Garcetti, Los Angeles County District Attorney. And that lawsuit was based upon the fact that John Silva had paid money as part of his divorce, his child support money. And child support money was being paid into the County of Los Angeles, because the County of Los Angeles, as you know, collects child support money. Now, what we found out is that he had paid his child support money in, but the child support money wasn't going to his wife. The county was not distributing it. And the county wasn't distributing about $14 million of child support money. Now, in John's case, he knew where his wife was, and he knew where the children were, because his wife was friendly. You know, he was giving the money to the county support system. The county wasn't giving it to his wife. His wife knew that the money was going in, so she was cooperating with us. And we found out that all these other women and children were not getting their money. So I sued the county to have this money distributed. The county answered and told me how much money was there, where the accounts were. All they had to do was distribute it. They were refusing to do it. I went into court, and we got to the end of the trial. The county moved to dismiss, and the judge dismissed the case. And I was astounded. And I went up into the appeal, and after the trial was over, and before I filed my first brief, I found out that the judge, Judge James C. Chalfant, had received money from the County of Los Angeles. That's how it started.
The judge had received money from the County of Los Angeles, apparently without disclosing the fact to the attorneys who were appearing in the child support case. Now Mr. Fine is just one of hundreds of people who have lost cases before the county. Another person is David R. Hernandez, who had to appear in Superior Court in front of Judge Yappe. He was suing both the City of Los Angeles and the county for an apparent election issue. He found himself on the losing side of another case that he thought should have been an obvious win. Judge Yappe ruled against him due to a bizarre technicality. Knowing that the judges get illegal, undisclosed sums of money from the county makes one doubt the integrity of the court's decision in favor of the county.
Following the March 2006 election, the City Council had placed a ballot measure, Measure R, on the city ballot. And what that did was, under the guise of ethics reform, it also extended their term in office. Even though the voters had voted for term limits, as part of the ethics reform package, they extended their terms from 2 4-year terms to 3 4-year terms. I challenge that because the state constitution specifically prohibits the bundling of 2 issues. If you want ethics reform, I can't force you to vote to give me 4 more years in office. And so another individual and I mounted a legal challenge, and this was a grassroots legal challenge. And when we went before the Superior Court Judge Yappe, the ruling went against us by saying the state constitution prohibits the bundling of ballot measures. And so because of that word, the judge ruled against us. And so finally we had to abandon that effort because we no longer had the resources. Not that our argument, our position wasn't just, it's that you're only limited as to what you can do. So at the beginning of the process, at the Superior Court level, that's where the integrity needs to be impeccable without question.
So where do these illegal payments to judges originate? Who set them up in the first place? And why are they continuing even today?
The way that the money comes from the county to the judges is that every year the county, as part of its budget, under what is known as trial court funding, if you look in the budget, you'll actually see this. Under trial court funding, you will see money going to the judges. And that money in this particular year is approximately $20 million, or $46,370 some odd dollars per judge. Now, how it started was back in 1988. The County of Los Angeles decided through its Board of Supervisors that they wanted to pay judges, and these are somewhat their exact words, to attract and retain qualified judges and qualified candidates to sit as judges in this, meaning LA County. And that was their reason. Now they knew, and I actually have a copy of the document, they knew at that point in time that they couldn't do this. They knew that to do this was illegal because under the California Constitution, under what is known as Article 6, Section 19 of the California Constitution, only the state legislature could prescribe the compensation of the judges.
So the state pays the salaries of Superior Court judges, not the county. As Mr. Fine said, only the state legislature can set the pay of the judges. But this under-the-table payment from LA County has been going on for a long time.
And there's a document in November of 1988, which was written by at that point, the county council to Frank Zolan, who was the clerk of the courts. And it actually went from the county council to the clerk of the courts explaining these things. So the LA Superior Court actually got this document. In that document, it said that the Attorney General had given the opinion that this could not be done. And so what the county council tried to rationalize is he said, well, this part of the Constitution really only meant salaries and it didn't mean compensation, so they're going to try and get around it in that way. They knew they were doing wrong. They also knew that the Attorney General had given opinions that you couldn't pay this money as part of a statute as compensation for judges. So they knew right then and there that what they were doing was wrong. The other thing that they knew is that if you're giving the money to attract people as candidates for judges, judges are elected officials. They're state elected officials under the California Constitution. We vote for a Superior Court judge every 6 years. So if you're going to be giving money to a judge to attract him to be a candidate, you'd be giving money to his political campaign. And that would be a gift of public money to a private individual, and that would be a violation of Article 16, Section 6 of the California Constitution.
How much was this money that they were giving them?
It turns out that at that point in time they were giving them about 27% of their salary, And back in '88, I'm not sure what the salary was, but it's probably maybe around $20-some thousand a year. Now it's doubled to $46,000 a year.
David R. Hernandez questions the motive of the county. Why should they give state salaried judges an additional $46,000 every year?
The judges already receive about $179,000 annually as a salary for being a judge. So what is the justification and rationalization for one party of litigation to be in a position to continue these annual payments? When you look at the amount of cases involving the County of Los Angeles for whatever reason, whether it's traffic tickets, whether it's excessive force for the Sheriff's Department, whether it's having to do with the jails or having to do with social services, having to do with the cases involving custody, cases involving child support, alimony, any of those types of things, you're going in front of what is supposed to be an impartial, fair jurist who has no outside influence.
Would you say then that basically the county was buying judges?
The bottom line of it is yes, because the only reason that the county could be giving this money, the only underlying reason, is that the county had cases in front of these judges. The county is a major litigant in the California courts. And it's the same thing as if the fictional Tony Soprano had been giving money to the judges. In fact, the county has an average, as far as normal cases are concerned. When I say normal, that's excluding child custody cases, that's excluding criminal cases. Just taking your regular cases, the county has about 700 to 800 new cases a year in the Superior Court. So when the county is giving this money, the underlying thought, in my opinion, is that the county wanted to influence the judges to decide the cases in the county's favor.
That sounds perfectly logical, but is there any proof that the county's investment in these judges pays off?
We have documents from the county council to the Board of Supervisors that shows that in the year 2005 and in the year 2006 and 2007, not one case that was decided by an LA Superior Court judge was decided against the County of Los Angeles. So basically, nobody won in that period of time. And for the year 2008, 2007, 2008, in that fiscal year, the documents are a little bit more vague, and possibly 2 cases were decided by a judge against the County of Los Angeles. But that was about the most.
Astounding. Out of 700 to 800 cases per year, only 1 or 2, or sometimes no cases are ever decided against the county? Unbelievable. David R. Hernandez points out how this situation can erode the public trust in a very dangerous way.
In going before the judge, we would, as I'm sure most people have believed, that it was a level playing field. Not level in the fact that you're going against an organization that has unlimited resources and you have limited resources, but level in the fact that justice is supposed to be blind and not be peeking under that blindfold to see if there's a bonus check coming in the mail.
And it's worse than just one county.
The effect of this is that every Superior Court judge in every county in Los Angeles, with the exception of San Francisco County, Yolo County, and Mendocino County, has received these payments. So all of these judges are tainted. Every Court of Appeal justice who had previously been a Superior Court judge has now been given immunity for all of their actions as being Superior Court judges. So they are tainted. On the California Supreme Court, you have the Justice Corrigan, who was a former Alameda Superior Court judge, Justice Chin, who was a former Alameda Superior Court judge, and one other justice whose name slips my mind, who was a former, Moreno, I believe it is, who is a former Los Angeles Superior Court judge. All of them are tainted because of these payments.
For the news behind the news, wherever and whenever you want it, go to fulldisclosure.net and get programs on topics affecting you, weekly updates and alerts on hot topics, video streaming of Full Disclosure episodes. It's award-winning, hard-hitting, corruption-fighting news coverage. And it's only available at fulldisclosure.net. Fulldisclosure.net, the news behind the news.
Welcome back to Full Disclosure and our interview with disbarred attorney Richard I. Fine. Judicial Watch, a national organization who monitors our courts, filed a lawsuit against LA County to stop the illegal payments in a case called Sturgeon versus County of Los Angeles. And they won. Suddenly there was some backdoor politicking going on in Sacramento.
On February 11th, Senator President Pro Tem of the State Senate, Darrell Steinberg, introduced a bill called Senate Bill SBX 211 into the State Senate, which stated that all the judges and all the government officials and all the governments that were involved with any activity of judges receiving money from counties received immunity from civil liability, criminal prosecution, and disciplinary action.
In other words, as soon as somebody blew the whistle, the judges ran for cover, calling on their pals in the state legislature to bail them out.
The bill that I just mentioned, according to its legislative history, came from the California Courts Administrative Office. The Court Administrative Office is located in the Judicial Council. So it was written in the Judicial Council. It went from the Judicial Council to Darrell Steinberg's office. It was voted on by the State Senate 3 days later, February 14th, and passed. It was passed by the State Assembly 1 day after that, February 15th, and it was signed by Governor Schwarzenegger as part of the budget package on February 20th.
Budget package? How can a bill giving immunity to judges for past crimes be part of the California budget package? According to Mr. Fine, it was hidden in the budget package to minimize any chance of discovery.
And as part of the budget package, all the news media and everything else were basically looking on the fact that there's a budget that was passed, and nobody looked at the fact that they had sneaked through this bill that gives these judges immunity. The bill admits that the payments were illegal, gives the judges and these other people immunity for their actions of having received the payments, the supervisors the immunity for having given the payments, and immunity for everything that occurred with respect to these payments.
Mr. Hernandez is angered by the collective conspiracy of both the judges and their conspirators in the California legislature.
Why would you even need that in there? Why would there be an immunity clause for any elected official, any judge, any supervisor, anyone involved in the violating of the Constitution, the state Constitution, over this long period of time? Why would it be retroactive? What is it that they know that we don't know? And to include this in a budget bill for the state of California? Now, what is being reported is that, I think it's SBX 211, that what it does is it allows the state to give, or it allows municipalities to give bonuses to judges. Well, you know, that's questionable, but at least that's putting it on the table. But when it goes to the next step to say, and no one can be prosecuted either or challenged civilly. So they eliminated not only criminal redress, but they also eliminated civil. So everyone involved in the process, by the insertion of this Senate bill in the passing of the California budget at a time when the budget is what, how many months overdue? 5 months, 6 months overdue, where people are being laid off, they're closing facilities. So there's this sense of urgency, and they slipped this in there. Well, everyone is focused on closing the DMV on Fridays, or the teachers getting layoff notices. Everyone's focused on that, and all of a sudden the sleight of hand comes in and says, we're giving these people immunity.
According to Mr. Fine, this was a deliberate act by the judges in concert with the state officials to subvert the system to assure that this gravy train will continue and protect the judges while they go on receiving considerable quantity of unearned money. Do you believe that the individual judges are aware of what they've been doing is illegal?
Absolutely. There's no question that they knew that it was illegal. These people aren't like you or I, that are unaware of the law. These are judges. These are people that are supposed to uphold the law. They have a code of judicial ethics that makes them liable and makes them aware that they have to uphold the integrity of the court. They have to obey the laws of the California. They have taken an oath to obey the law of the state of California. They have taken an oath to obey the law, the Constitution of the United States of America, and the laws of the United States of America. And under Article 6, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution, they are bound to obey the law, the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the United States. There is no question whatsoever that they knew that they were taking illegal money. None whatsoever. They knew the California Constitution. They knew that the Constitution said that only the state could prescribe their compensation. They knew that they're state elected officials. They knew that they're state employees. They knew that they weren't working for the county, and they knew that this money was illegal. And they took it. No way that they can get around that.
We want to thank Mr. Richard I. Fine and civic activist David R. Hernandez for appearing on Full Disclosure today. We want to know what you, the viewers, think. Have the comments made by Mr. Fine and Mr. Hernandez eroded your confidence in our state judicial system? Please call our Full Disclosure Town Hall number at 1-800-867-7777. That's 1-800-867-7777. And if you leave your name and number, we'll get back to you. Or you can log on to our website at fulldisclosure.net and leave your opinion there. And if you leave your email address, we'll be happy to respond. I'm Leslie Dutton. Please join us next time when you'll hear the 911 call from the Los Angeles County Men's Central Jail from a defiant Mr. Fine as he continues his war with the California judicial system. Next on Full Disclosure. Thank you.
To respond to this question or comment on this program, please call 800-867-7777 or visit fulldisclosure.net. Transcripts or DVD copies of this program are also available on our website. Full Disclosure, the news behind the news.